Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
Are you interested in automatically collecting investor commitments and processing distributions? InvestNext offers these features and more, giving you the opportunity to manage your entire portfolio on one institution-grade platform. At Lifebridge Capital, prior to partnering with InvestNext, our team struggled to provide visibility for our investors. We needed the ability to share data on our projects, process payments, and view performance all in one place. Since adopting InvestNext, my team has the tools they need to effectively manage the entire life cycle of each syndication. From capital raising and waterfall calculations to distribution payouts and securely delivering K1s, we have everything we need in one platform. These features give our investors access to all their data in one place. We no longer are wasting time fielding basic investor inquiries about their investment performance. They're able to log in, see all of their documents, view their capital accounts, as well as invest in any current offerings, all from their mobile or desktop browser. If you want to learn more, book a demo at investnext.com and enter the promo code Whitney for 15% off your first 3 months. This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Gus Castro. Originally from Mexico, Gus is a former Microsoft senior engineer turned real estate agent turned inside sales guru. He runs one of the largest inside sales team for real estate in North America called Power ISA. That is 100 agents strong, making about 50,000 outbound dials a day and setting about 100 appointments with buyers and sellers every day, mostly from Facebook leads and real estate. He is very passionate about helping business owners be successful through online marketing and lead follow-up and conversion. Well, that whole process is so complicated it can seem, right? It's helpful to know someone like Gus to really think through that process or do it for you one way or the other. There's so many different techniques, but one thing, if you're in this business, you need leads. You're out there trying to put video content out or make posts on Facebook or LinkedIn or wherever. But this is one way that, especially on Facebook, could be very beneficial. And if you haven't considered it, I would encourage you to listen to the show and learn from Gus as he walks through some Facebook ad techniques, really, and things you should know as you're getting started to run ads, just to increase your investor flow, as he calls it. Gus has skills that we all need, no matter what business you are in. I'm looking forward to today's show. Gus, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Whitney. Glad to be here.
Yeah, Gus, dive in a little bit to how you got into this position and even some of the maybe clients that you're helping, because I know we have many listeners who would fit those shoes as well. But we're going to jump in and talk through some of the processes and things that you help them with as well. But what do you do right now? What's your focus? Who's your ideal client?
Yeah, so right now I run a team. As of this morning, we have 126 full-time employees, about 20 trainees, folks that are training with us, learning, getting ready to launch, and about 106 folks that are in production, right? Helping investors, real estate agents, loan officers get more appointments and life transfers from their leads. The folks come to us because they have a lead problem, right? They have a lead problem. They're generating leads. They're just not getting the maximum out of them. They're not getting the max, or they want to generate leads through outbound prospecting. So we actually handle both kinds of problems. They need help with the conversion aspect. They want someone to call those leads when they come in, within 5 minutes and use the scripts on them and convert them and follow up with them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Our longest plan is 27 touches in 12 months to get in touch with them and try to convert them. And we also help folks that have lists, right? Especially in the investor space, people kind of get that, the list building aspect of it, how important that is. When you talk about deal flow, lead generation, deal flow, it has a lot to do with how good of a list you can generate for your area, for your target acquisition. So we help investors get the most out of those lists, right? Because we call them, we follow up, we text people back. We're just trying to get that conversion gain. So if I had to summarize what we do, we help investors, we help real estate agents and loan officers convert and get the most out of those assets, whether that's an online lead that's generated off the web, or that's a list that they've built. Those lists are expensive. Those lists are pricey. They want to get the most out of that. So that's what we do.
Nice. No, that's incredible. And so those skill sets, though, are something almost every business needs now, right? As you know, so much as almost everything on the internet, good or bad, it's all, it's all there. And if you don't have a presence online as a business owner, then I don't see how you're still in business almost, at this point. But you have some skill sets though that, like, as syndicators, as people in commercial real estate, we're partnering with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of investors, and obviously always trying to grow that list, right? The more investors that we can partner with and bring on our team, it really as limited partners, then the larger deals we can do, right? And the faster we can grow, all those things, and even the more buying power, to do larger deals. And so, but it all starts, they have to find us somehow, right? And oftentimes it's not at a conference. I've met lots of our investors at conferences and in person, of course, but majority of them have found me online somewhere, right? That, we get in front of them and then we have to convert that lead, right? We have to build that relationship. And so, let's jump in a little bit to that process and, and let's, maybe you could speak to, that investor or somebody like myself that's trying to get in front of those, convert leads, to investors specifically. I know one thing I read about you, like 3 steps to how, your team sets 100+ appointments per day with Facebook leads. That's incredible. If we were doing that, that we wouldn't have a money issue. We don't, but thankfully, but still, how do we do some of those things? Let's jump in.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question, Whitney. And we approach this we help solve this problem for our different types of audiences or different types of clients that we have. The real estate agent is looking for clients. The loan officer is looking for clients. The syndicator, the investor, right, is also looking for clients. They're not just looking for deals. They want people to work with them. They want to talk. They want to get to know them. They want them to know, like, and trust them. And they want to get that face-to-face interaction or that phone call, that direct phone call to where they're delivering the value and they're delivering the pitch. That's the goal that they hire us to achieve. They're like, Gus, I know my stuff, right? I'm not new this is typically the persona we're looking for. They're not new in the business. They know that to move their business forward, they have to talk to more people. They have to talk to more qualified leads. Gus, if I can get a very typical for a real estate agent to tell me, if I can talk to 2 unmet leads that are qualified, I'm going to close one of them. That's an excellent conversion rate for retail real estate. That's a really good conversion rate off of a cold lead, off of Facebook or Google or one of these other systems. If they can talk to 2 people they've not met that are qualified, they're going to be buying a home in the next year, right? They can be out there. And they can convert one of those 2, that's a great conversion rate. Right? It's a great conversion rate. So people that know their numbers, folks that understand that they just need to get in front of more qualified prospects, that is the way forward for their business. That kind of a problem lends itself to a solution like us. It lends itself to that because that's what we do. We take these lists, we take these online campaigns, and we help convert them. And I'll give you an example. When you're thinking about someone, you want to generate, whether that's a high net worth individual, an investor, whether that's a motivated seller, right? That's another aspect of the investor space that we help people out with, looking for deal flow. Well, I want a motivated seller, someone that's going through some situation, they want cash fast. I'm looking for a sophisticated investor that has liquidity. Well, again, we just went through the pandemic episode. I think we have a crisis of liquidity in the planet because of the measures people have taken to interest rates are not great. Money's going to lose a lot of value if it's not going somewhere doing something, right? So the syndicators have that going for them. People are looking for real estate. They're looking for that. That's great. But you want to get their attention anyway, and you want to tell them why, Whitney, why are you the solution to their liquidity problem? That's the person you're looking for. And when you're any kind of online campaign, Facebook is just the natural choice because everyone is on Facebook. And Facebook tends to skew a little older, right? As these social networks go. You've got Instagram and TikTok and all these systems. Facebook tends to be where a lot of these professionals are. High net worth individuals are going to be on Facebook. LinkedIn is also another one, but I'll be honest with you, 99% of the campaigns that we run for that purpose are on Facebook. It's more interaction. People are on there longer. the ads convert much, much better. So the problem reduces itself, Whitney. You want to create content. You want to create an ad. You want to create a video. You want to create something that's going to catch the attention of someone that's in that mindset. I have liquidity. I would not like to keep it in the bank. I would, I don't want to, cryptocurrency can be very, people found that out in the last 30 days. That's not going to go straight up in a straight line every single day, right? So maybe they don't like crypto. That's too risky for them. The stock market, they don't have a ton of confidence in the stock market. That's going to keep going the way it's been going. So if you can, these are real concerns that the investors have. This is real. This is 100% what they're going through, their mindset. They want to diversify. And what is going to be more solid long-term than real estate, right? It's not going to have the issues that crypto is going to have. It's probably not going to have the issues even some of the investment like stocks will have, like stock picking. Real estate has that enormous advantage over a lot of these other asset types. So that's what you want to talk about. And you also want to share what has Whitney done for his clients, right? You want to tell them, hey, guess what? I've got, an investor that came with us 18 months ago and, have gone through, I don't know, their second round, third round, fourth deal, with us because they're so happy because of this, because of that. That's also a very powerful kind of ad. So you're creating the online ad space reduces itself to speak to that audience, speak to their concerns, speak to their needs, right? Do it with nice images, do it with catchy videos. And Facebook allows a lot of this kind of targeting. There's some targeting that Facebook does not allow when it's talking about real estate. That's important to say. There's this thing called the special ads category for Facebook. I don't know if you heard of it, Whitney, or not. It's
no,
really,
please tell
important.
us.
What's that?
I said, no, I haven't heard of it. Please tell us about it.
Yeah. So when you want to make an ad on Facebook related to real estate, and this is going to be a real estate, if you're looking for an investor to invest in real estate, it's going to be a real estate related ad. It can get flagged. They don't want it to, they're not going to allow you to use demographic targeting, income-based targeting, location-based targeting. The only location-based targeting you can do for these ads nowadays is a 15-mile radius. You drop a pin in a split. Let's say you have this down to where, the investors in my city are in this part of town. That's not a crazy assumption to make, probably. You can't target a specific zip code or a neighborhood like you used to with Facebook. You have to drop a pin and it's going to show that ad in a 15-mile radius. That's just the way that works. So you've got to craft. So the problem has reduced itself. You don't have these crazy targeting tools at your disposal, not for real estate. You don't have them. But you can create some awesome copy, right? You can create a great image that is going to speak to your audience. And if you're talking about diversify your returns, move your money into real estate, if you get, are you worried about crypto? Well, then try something different, right? Crypto is not the only option. We have other ways that you can actually keep your money safe, keep it growing, get better returns with real estate, right? Talk about real estate. There's some restrictions on what you can say, what you can promise. Facebook does not want people to say triple your money, or guaranteed. They don't want you to say that, right? You got to be careful with the wording, matters. But you want to tell them that you have options for them. If they want to diversify, if they want to have a real estate-based investment, you're the solution for them. That's what you want. Because Facebook, even though it doesn't allow you to do a lot of this income-based targeting, demographic targeting anymore, it is scary good at identifying who likes those topics, who's interested in real estate investing, who is a high net worth individual that might want to look at that, because that ad can be shown to 100 different people. The investor is going to react differently to that ad. And I mean that they're going to scroll a little bit slower when they see that ad, right? They're going to maybe comment on that ad. They're going to share that ad. They're going to like that ad. They're going to click on learn more for that ad. And once someone does that, that's in your target market, the algorithm is scary good at identifying people that are like that person. Oh, okay. Bob liked the ad. Bob clicked on the ad. Okay, what's Bob about? Oh, look, I've got Sally here too. And I've got Carlos over here. What do they have in common? The algorithm does this for us. This is really amazing, right? That's why Facebook is what it is, because it does a lot of this work. It doesn't allow you to do it up front, right? Because that can violate fair housing laws. But it does allow you to, it does it on the back end without your intervention. It goes, what do these folks have in common? And it's going to be around, their income, their interests. You can do that, and you can find people that are more qualified, and that's part of the magic of what Facebook can do. So you want to create these ads that get people's attention. You want them clicking that button, and you want to send them over to you, right? To you. That's where the magic starts. Okay, great. Someone's interested.
So somebody though that's never posted an ad before. Maybe they don't even know you could do this yet, Gus. They're thinking about, okay, Gus, you've got my attention. I'm going to post an ad. I want to be able to put something on Facebook. I can see, okay, that makes sense to me. How that's going to add, that could add a lot of value if I can get in front of more people. What about the length of the ad? And I also wanted you to highlight the cost. What kind of cost should they expect on something like this?
Okay, that's a really good question. So here's the good news, and here's the kind of a twist, the non-intuitive consequence. The good news is Facebook generates leads at the lowest cost of any platform I've ever seen, right? And I compare it against Google pay-per-click, against LinkedIn ads. Especially LinkedIn is the most expensive, right? YouTube also very expensive to generate, very very expensive to generate content, and very expensive to generate leads. Still on YouTube, LinkedIn is up there. Google is lower cost, but it's still pretty. Generating a investor related lead can be $30, $40, $50 per lead on Google, because depending on what kind of keywords you target. But Facebook is always going to be a fraction of that, right? You can generate leads on Facebook, even investor related leads, for $5 a lead, maybe even less than that in some markets. But here's the catch, Whitney. Like, everything has a catch. Everything is a trade-off. Facebook, as opposed to Google, on Google, the behavior of someone on Google, they're searching, I want to invest in real estate in Salt Lake City. I mean, they're typing that out. They're being very explicit with what they want, right? It tends to be easier to identify a motivated investor in Salt Lake City. On Facebook, it's different. No one goes on to Facebook, right? I don't know people going to Facebook looking for real estate opportunities, looking for real estate investments. So that's not the reason they're on the platform. You're trying to get their attention with something in a process called interruption marketing, interruption-based marketing. They're doing something else. They're looking at cat pictures. They're looking at pictures from their grandkids. They're looking at something about golf or whatever it is. And you want to stop them and go, stop scrolling, right? Take a look at what I'm doing here. Look at this information, and let's see if I can catch your attention. So the intent is very different on Facebook as opposed to Google, right? So you're going to generate more leads. More of those folks are going to be not that interested, not that motivated. A lot of them can be unqualified. Depending on where you run this ad, you can get a combination of one or two qualified individuals and 99, 98 unqualified individuals that are going to come through your ad. So what you have to do with a platform like Facebook is, and this is not intuitive, you've got to put up barriers for people to get to you. You want to make it harder to set appointments with you. You want to make it harder for people to come through the funnel and land in your inbox. That's not an obvious thing sometimes, but the reason you want to do that is you want to put some friction between the ad and you, because you want to weed out the folks that are not unqualified, either because they don't make enough money, they're not really motivated, they don't have any other investments yet. That's not a good indicator for someone that's going to do a syndication probably. So you want to make sure they've got other kinds of assets, other kinds of investments before. Maybe that's an important piece of qualification. And you want to get an idea, what's their net worth? What's their current net worth? Or ask the right question. Are you an accredited investor? Unless you are one, you probably don't even know what that is, right? So yes or no. What's that? How are you that? What's your current asset allocation? You want to put in some questions in there, and the platform lets you do this very easily within Facebook. Add some questions in there to qualify these leads. So you might get 100 leads through a campaign, $5 a lead. That's $500, right? You spent to generate 100 leads. 90 of those might be unqualified, just based on the information they gave you. 90 of those are saying, I'm not an accredited investor, right? And maybe that's not someone you want. Okay, but 10 of them are, right? So instead of $5 per lead, those leads ended up costing you $50 per lead, right? Because you spent $500, you got 10 leads. That's $50 a lead. And out of those, maybe you got one solid, qualified, motivated investor that you can work with in the next 3 months. Is it worth it to you to get an investor at a cost of $500? I would, for my business, client acquisition at $500 a pop, I would do that every day of the week. I know real estate agents would do it every hour of the week if they could acquire a client at a cost of $500. That is what Facebook can do. That kind of like acquisition number is the best, the acquisition. And I tell folks, kind of ignore the cost per lead, ignore all those things. At the end of the day, how much does it cost to get a deal signed? How much does it cost to get someone through the door that's motivated, that's qualified, that's listening to your pitch, and that is able to go, yeah, that's what I need. Tell me more, Gus, right? That's what I want. And
that's what we're all trying to do, right?
100%.
Yeah.
On the deal flow side and on the investor flow side, that's what you want. Want to talk to qualified individuals, deliver your value proposition, have them sign on the dotted line.
What are a couple of the systems that we need for that follow-up and conversion process? So we put those ads up there. What happens after that? They click on it.
Great question. So when you click on that ad, that can pretty quickly automatically land in your inbox. It can go into your CRM. Hopefully you have some kind of CRM system, some kind of follow-up system. That's number one. Anytime you're doing online lead generation, Whitney, the CRM, people don't know what that is, customer relationship manager. It's a lead follow-up system is what it is, CRM, a client database, a lead database system. It's a must. If you're spending money, now we're talking about, to generate these clients, you've got to be spending $30, $40, $50 a day, $100 a day. And if you have any kind of modicum of success, Whitney, I know investors are spending $1,000 a day. If you find a way to convert these leads and if you're having success with them, you scale these campaigns up. They scale very quickly, right? So, but you got to start at least at $40, $50 a day. You need to have a system that's going to hold you accountable to that ad spend, right? That's not a small amount of money, right? That's something. It's going to be over $1,000, $1,500 a month. And for a lot of folks in real estate and investors, that's real money now. If you're going to be spending that, to hold yourself accountable, you need a CRM. You need a system that's going to keep track of these leads. When did they come in? Great. How many people have you actually talked to? Great. How many times have you tried to reach out to them? Oh, that's interesting. That system, that's what that's for. That's step number one. Have somewhere for those folks to land. Within those systems, you can set up follow-up plans. All of them allow you to do this. Set up a follow-up plan. We recommend within the first 30 days, and this is just generic online lead, right? You said this applies to a lot of business. This does apply to a lot of businesses, not just real estate, right? Not just deal flow, not just investor flow. I think it's common across. You need to try to contact them at least 12 times within the first 30 days. That is a minimum. That is not like, oh yeah, if you do that, you're good. No, that's a minimum, right? Have a system in place that's going to help you keep track of these leads, right? And you're going to go intense the first 7 days. You're probably going to reach out to them 7 times the first 7 days, and then another 4 or 5 times the rest of the month. You don't want.
Is that email? Is that text? Is that phone calls? What is that?
Great question. So when I'm talking about these follow-ups, I'm only talking about calling and texting. And not that I don't use email in my business and my clients don't use it. Everyone uses email. They use it. But the purpose of those first 30 days is conversion, right? It's conversion. It's contact and conversion. I should clarify. Contact, qualification, and conversion. You want to go through all those steps. Email is not great at that. That specific flow, qualification and conversion. It's good for awareness. Email is great for nurturing. More kind of a long-term play, long-term game. Email is great at that. But when we're talking about the first 30 days and conversion, it does a really poor job. So that's why we go heavy on the calling and texting, because the purpose is a little bit different. And we've measured this. When we measured this, we did this for a whole month, 500 appointments were set, and we did equal amounts of calling, texting, and emailing, equal amounts for the first 30 days. And it was a really simple plan. 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 emails. Did it. That's all we did. So a lot of leads came through, and we set 500 appointments. Less than 1% of those converted leads were through email. Less than 1%. It makes sense, right? I mean, that's just not the medium that you would use to achieve that. It's not a great medium, not a great response rate. You haven't built enough trust yet. It's not a great medium to convert leads. But again, email marketing is not dead. Email marketing works great in the right scenario, not the conversion rate scenario.
What are a couple of biggest mistakes people make when trying to start with Facebook leads? Just give us a couple of things and we'll have to move to a few final questions.
They don't know their numbers. They don't understand that cost per acquisition that I talked about. They're looking at, again, these systems can be really complicated really, really quickly. You need to keep it as simple as possible, right? How much are you spending? How many leads are you getting? And how many of those are converting into signed deals? At the basic level, that's it. That's all you should really worry about. And making sure that you're working those leads as hard as you can. Like I said, 12 touches in the first 30 days. You just need to focus on, am I generating leads? Am I following up with them? And what's the cost at the end of the day to get a deal signed? You need to understand that. And I think folks get lost with CPMs, CPLs, CTRs, CTCs, all these different acronyms and metrics you can generate. Again, all those metrics have a purpose. They're not that they're not useful. You don't worry about them, right? Because if you're not making any money, those really are not going to help you a ton either, right? So you want to make sure, I tell folks, jump into the Facebook Ads Manager, set up a campaign. It's designed for you to do that within an hour. It's not that complicated. Get out there, and start testing your messages. Within 2 to 3 days, at a $30 to $50 a day spend, whether you have traction or not. This is not months and months of time. That's what I love. I love Facebook and that aspect of it. You should test a campaign 2 to 3 days. If you're not getting any bites, stop it, right? It's not working. Try it again. This is the hottest market, in I don't know how many decades. If you're not getting any traction in this market, your messaging's off, right? Try something else. Try another offer. Try another message. Try another angle to that. You should be getting, let's go on the high end, $50 per prospect. You should be getting a couple prospects within a couple of days, to at least people that are interested in your offer. Okay, talk to them, get them on. Let's see if you can get them on the phone, or at least respond to the text, have a conversation with them and see how that goes. If that's at least an interesting conversation, it's a qualified individual. Okay, let's keep going. Let's give it a few more days. Let's see what else we can do. So I would tell folks, focus on the big numbers, focus on the big picture, and test things out within the platform. Test it out. I think that's very, very important, and it lends itself a lot to that.
Tell us a couple pros, cons, maybe, should somebody strongly consider hiring a company, somebody like yourself, to do this for them? Or is it something that some people, if they have maybe a smaller budget, they can figure out some of this on their own?
Yeah, so I would say that our solution really lends itself for the folks that have figured out some of those numbers at this point. They kind of know what their conversion rate is. They kind of understand their cost per acquisition. Once you've kind of figured that out, then you can actually start to outsource part of the process. Like, hey, Gus, I just need to talk to more people. I need to talk to more accredited investors. So get me an appointment a day, 2 appointments a day, right? Because I know that that is going to work for me. And you should know with any campaign you start, whether it's Power ISA or anyone else, within the first 30 days, whether you're going to meet those goals or not. Are you generating enough attended appointments to meet your goals, right? It's you can usually tell within the first 30 days. So if you need a solution to that problem to start outsourcing this, then Power ISA is a great solution for you, because if you've got a business, you've got a model that works, you can start specializing and focusing on the higher value activities. You're adding leverage, right? You're doing it. And I think an agency like ours is a great way to fill in some of those gaps as you build your team. A lot of times we add ISAs, inside salespeople, to teams that already have in-house ISAs. They're just very difficult to find, and they're difficult to retain, and they're difficult to keep motivated. So we augment an existing team, especially in the investor space. We augment additional ISAs because the team leader, the owner, they'd love to add more people. They just can't, right? It's just too difficult, or it's just not worth their time to spend a bunch of time finding folks. We go in there, they keep one of their lead ISAs, like their main telephone conversion person, and we help them, right? We offload some of their work. That's another model I've seen work really, really well. But you have to be on a certain journey, right? You have to be on a certain point in that business journey to where you can add that kind of leverage and it makes sense.
Your team, and I don't. Let me get this right. It wouldn't really work so much for my business specifically, just because legal issues, as far as other people taking phone calls, or I have to have that pre-existing relationship. And so myself or somebody really directly on our team needs to have that conversation with investors. But many other industries in real estate, I mean, many other types of businesses in real estate that can work at a big scale. Now, you all take calls also, right? Generate the leads and take phone calls and things like that. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, when we have a dedicated ISA within your team, within your company, we help you figure out what their workflow is. Their workflow can be taking calls. Their workflow can be, you typically want to organize their activities by order of priority. Their number one priority is the new inbound or the incoming phone call. It's the same thing. It's an immediate contact. That's the highest priority. Drop everything and make sure you attend to that new lead or that new inbound call. Number one. Number two, what are your scheduled follow-ups for that day? That means, remember we talked about that, those 12 touches in 30 days, that translates into daily activities on relatively new leads that came in within the last 30 days. That's priority two. Priority three is probably going to be calling your list of uncontacted leads, of longer term follow-ups, of folks that are further down in that conversion journey, but you still got to reach out to them. You still got to call them, right? And maybe a number 4 is going to be outbound prospecting, calling cold lists, people that have not been contacted. They don't even know who Whitney is or the company is or someone else. They don't know who the investor is, who the real estate agent is. But you're going out there and reaching out to them and trying to pitch them and get them interested and get them into the database. So it usually goes by a priority like that. Highest priority is the highest, most motivated, highest value lead. And the lowest priority is probably going to be a cold list that's uncontacted.
All right, guys, we're going to transition just a little bit to a few final questions. I would imagine the listeners right now, they've learned a lot about Facebook ads and maybe the value in really thinking through, maybe they should be doing this or, having some Facebook ads because it's so concentrated, right? It's such a concentrated, people, are all on Facebook. Almost everyone, is on Facebook, right? Guess, what are a couple of daily habits that you are disciplined about that have helped you achieve success?
Oh, and this is something I started within the last 6 months, which has been like a game-changing thing for me, which is take an hour every day and go out and take a walk. I started with 30 minutes. I built it up to about an hour. I'm going to start jogging at some point because, I didn't want to make it about a project. I wanted to make it like relaxation, almost like a walking meditation kind of a process. And it's been, that's how I start the day now, right? I'm out there, I'm not a super early riser, so I'm not a miracle morning kind of guy, but I am out there like 8:15, 8:30 a.m. And I'm walking for 45 to 60 minutes, Monday through Friday. So I take the weekends off, just honestly, and I've made a process of that. And that has been huge for me. That is unbelievably important because I have so many things to do nowadays. I have a very large organization, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of people trying to get my attention. I need to carve out some time, be very intentional about just having some me time to settle, to relax, to focus on what I want to, where am I at in my life? Where am I at in my goals and what I want to accomplish that day? I found the best way to do that is just to go out and take a walk, relax a little bit and let my mind kind of settle.
No doubt about it. I just did a solo show just the other day talking about thinking time, the importance of thinking time. It sounds like that's what that is for you. It's so important for me as well, not to just live in the madness all the time, right? Or just, go. Like you have to really think about everything that's going on and have time for that. What about the number one thing that's contributed to your success, Gus?
Oh boy, the number one thing that's contributed to there's so many things. So this is a great question because I'm like, I can give you like the top 5 things, but I think the number one thing has been a supportive spouse. I cannot tell you how important that's been from the very beginning. I started my business because my wife got licensed in real estate. I was an engineer at Microsoft. So she kind of brought me in front of what this was, and it blew my mind. She could see that I had the bug. She could see that I was destined to other things, right? Probably wasn't going to be an engineer my whole life, my whole career. And she kind of lightly nudged me in the right direction. And when I took the plunge and became an entrepreneur is that business lifestyle is tough. It's difficult, right? You've got the ups and the downs of a business owner. This is just how business works. And without her support, 100% being there, I would not have been able to do that, right? It's hard enough to run a business and go through those ups and downs. Imagine having someone right by you that's just not helping, right? Not being unproductive, right? Being negative, bringing toxicity to the situation. I would not be able to handle that. She's been unbelievably key in everything I've done.
That is a great answer, by the way. I could not agree more. Personally, could not agree more. That is a great answer. Gus, how do you like to give back?
It's a really good question, and I think the answer to that has changed for me over the years. But right now, I have a large organization, I have a large team, I have a large footprint, a lot of stuff under my purview. I look for vulnerable people, vulnerable organizations, vulnerable situations around me, and I try to do my best. Whether that's like a nonprofit organization that I see struggling that I can help out, either with leadership or with resources, or someone within my team, that they're going through a medical situation, a family issue, or someone close to them, right? Someone close to them is going through a health issue or some kind of crisis. My purview has increased. Now those folks come into my world and I get to decide, am I in a position to help this person? Yes or no? And if I can, Now it's my decision. Do I choose to help this person? Yes or no? So I think, that kind of a framework has helped me, right? Kind of understand, because we have a responsibility as leaders, as business owners. I feel that we have a responsibility, especially with our team, to be aware of those issues and help them out as best we can.
That's awesome, Gus. Just having that mindset of really looking around who's around you, right? Who can you help? And at least being open to that, having that mindset of being aware of who needs help and maybe you can help. Maybe you're that person that's next to them that can stick out a hand, right? And help pull them up. So Gus, great show. Appreciate you just really opening our eyes to the possibility of Facebook ads and the leads that we could be generating, for as investors, to our business and to probably many other entrepreneurs that are listening that maybe you haven't thought about the value of Facebook ads and that what they can accomplish there, especially probably working with someone like yourself. So on that note, tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about you. Yeah,
definitely. The best way to reach out to us is through my website, powerisa.com. That's all together. And if you haven't guessed it, on Facebook, I'm always on Facebook. I have a free Facebook group that we talk about marketing and lead conversion. Folks can join that if they want to continue the conversation with me. I can send you the link so you can post it on there. Would love to chat with folks and continue and answer any questions.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by Lifebridge Capital. Lifebridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. Lifebridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.